Join Samantha and Hans at the next Macro to Micro Options Power Hour held each Wednesday at 4 p.m. Eastern Time. Registration is free. Scan this QR code or click on the link in the description.
I did want to show one thing, Samantha, because somebody talked about ASTS earlier, and I thought this might be a good learning moment.
Let me just answer Kevin's question real quick. You have to look, I have it in trend, Kevin, and it is actually a bull risk reversal for 2025, 2026. So anyway, it's posted in there. Okay, go ahead.
You know what? I looked at one of those risk reversals on Crowd, and I said, I'm going to wait for it to pull back 10 or 15 bucks, and it just didn't. It would have been absolute gold, and I just can't bring myself to do it up here. But it would have been selling maybe a downside vertical credit spread down in the 70, 75 range to finance maybe an upside call spread. When you sell those vertical, if you just sell a put, you're going to get all that premium, and you've got more to put to use to the upside. But if you sell a credit spread, then you're really not getting very much, and you end up usually grabbing an upside call spread because that's all you can afford. And you probably usually have to pay extra as well. So, but it's a nice way to create cheap upside leverage for a relatively small debit. But
and it's out in time. So this is
you give yourself time. Exactly. And I did a trade like that on, people will be shocked to hear it, but I did one on SOXL. So I'm talking about these leverage products, and I've been
Shame on you.
I've been talking down to them for months and months because I think they do get people in trouble. One of the main reasons is, as the option seller crowd, the theta gang out there, everyone's always, okay, you can make this every month. And of course they kind of gravitate towards the SOXLs and the MSTXs because they have those really juicy premiums. Now they're juicy for a reason because these things can move around. But at the same time, you have that leverage decay, which is very important. Most people don't even understand that it exists. And if you look at a chart of SOXL or MSTX, which was down like 90% at one point from its highs, you'll understand that something more is going on there than just the leverage. So these things get chopped up by lots of movement. And so it's counterintuitive, but I usually tell my mentoring students, I say, listen, resist the temptation to get in until you really are feeling good about an established trend. Because as long as we're in a realized vol movement, and what that means is up and down and up and down and false starts, false sell-offs, everything false, that is going to lead to this kind of leverage decay because these products have to add their swap products. So the person running the underlying strategy has to add, in order to get 3 times performance tomorrow, they have to assets to that. So they can only guarantee you 3 times for one day, roughly 3 times, but they cannot guarantee it over many days. And what happens is they end up having to rebalance, and that can hurt these products. So where the option sellers get things a little bit wrong is just when those premiums are very high is when you probably don't want to go near those products. Now, when you finally can potentially establish a trend, and you probably don't want to try to pick the bottom in them, but when you think that a trend is going to emerge, then these products can absolutely perform. If you can catch a big run in semiconductors or a big run in MSTX or MSTR, then this thing is going to really do it for you. But that is when the option premiums actually compress a fair bit. So it's this sort of counterintuitive world, but they're very interesting, but they're really uniquely for specific situations, in my view. Now, the thing I wanted to bring up is someone talked about ASTS, and it reminded me of, I had a session the other day and somebody said, oh yeah, I was in this trade and I did a poor man's covered call. So if anybody doesn't know what that is, it's instead of buying ASTS, you can go and buy a longer term option, a longer term call on it instead of spending. So for example, if I showed you NVIDIA, you can either buy 100 shares for $13,000 or $13,500, wherever it is right now, $14,000, or you can buy a longer term call at around an 80 delta, and you can spend maybe 35, 40% of what you're going to spend on the stock, and you can create similar upside. So if some people who don't have maybe a larger account and don't want to, if you're trading a Netflix, it's really hard to do an option trade on it. It's $1,000 stock, $1,200 stock. You need a whole lot of money to do just a one contract, right? So what people will do is these poor man cover calls and use leaps as a way to create that upside exposure. But then what they'll do is they'll try to generate, this is a very popular strategy, while they own this upside via in the money 80 delta call, they will sell shorter term calls in an effort to pay down some of the time premium that you have in that leap. So you're saying, well, I think I like ASTS. So let's give the example of ASTS. I like ASTS, but I'm saying that I'm going to sell some shorter term calls against that position because I don't think it's going to go up right away. Maybe it's going to take its time and sit around for a month. Well, you're sticking your neck out there a little bit. And so they brought this position to me and they said, well, I was long a longer term 30 30 call on ASTS, and it was, and they said we were short some, I don't know what it was, June of this year, June or July of this year. And I said, you got to be really careful with that, because you're long, say you're long a 30 call that expires a year from now. It's got $8 of time value in it. If you sell something shorter term that effectively, if you get run over, if the stock goes up and you sell a June and you sold a 32 call for $1.50 or $2, well, you're locking in a loss, because you're effectively, if you think about selling that 32 call against your leaps, you're basically agreeing to sell that stock at 32 plus the $2 that you got, right? So you're basically selling the stock for 34. But what if you're selling the stock at 34 and your 30 call is worth $8? Well, you're locking in a $4 loss. So I said, be very careful with these poor man's covered calls. Everyone thinks it's just this easy formula. You buy these long-term calls and then you just keep selling all this. You get all this free money in the meantime. Make sure you do the math. And I'm not saying it's wrong to do it. So I said that to the student. I said, listen, this isn't wrong, but you got to be on your toes, because you are making a call that you like ASTS or that you like NVIDIA or something like that. That's the reason you're buying a longer term call. And then you're actually getting in your way by selling a shorter term call. And if you screw this up, you're going to actually lock in a loss. Or if you end up getting assigned and you're short stock against a long leap, long a really expensive put now on a stock that you liked. So you turned it into the complete opposite of what you intended to do. So either you do these where the math doesn't make sense. That's where the math doesn't make sense. You're long something for $8 that's going to get you out. It's going to guarantee a $4 loss if the stock goes up. Either you need to be fast in covering that position. You need to absolutely, when you put that position on, you're going to say to yourself, if this thing hits $34, I am covering this call, or I'm going to turn this into a real mess. Or what I prefer to do is, instead of buying an out of the money call, I may own an in the money. So I may own the 20 call. That's going to cost me $12. So let's do the math on that. So if I buy the March 2026 ASTS $20 call, it's going to cost me $12 and say 75 cents. Well, what's my break even on that? $12.75 plus 20. I need this thing to go to 32.75 before I technically am going to make money, right? Because there's time value in there. $20 plus $12.75 means my minimum where I'm going to start making money on this at expiry is $32.75. So now I have a beacon that I can look at and go, well, if I'm going to sell a shorter term call, I better make sure that I'm going to get at least the strike plus the premium on the short term call has to be above $32.75. So that if ASTS comes out with news tomorrow and somebody says, we're taking over this stock at $50, at least you're going to make some money. Upset because you should have been just long the call, but you're at least going to make some money. So I thought when you mentioned ASTS, I thought, oh, wow, I just talked about this with somebody. Be very careful with these poor man covered calls. Do the math, figure out what your break even is, and then use that to inform what strikes you're going to sell if you do want to sell shorter term calls. I'm not saying that's wrong to do the shorter term calls. You just do it right, or at the very least, you better be ready to move your feet
Manage
if it goes against you.
Yeah.
Join Samantha and Hans at the next Macro to Micro Options Power Hour, held each Wednesday at 4 p.m. Eastern Time. Registration is free. Scan this QR code or click on the link in the description. Watch the full Options Macro to Micro Power Hour episode by clicking on the video here, and subscribe to 𝐬𝐿 Trading YouTube channel for more content.